The room fell silent the moment Mr. Adebayo spoke. "You can take the guest room," he said calmly, glancing at his wife, "or you can move out." He said it as if he were offering tea, not deciding where his daughter would sleep. They were seated at the same dining table where Amara had once done her homework and blown out birthday candles. Now it felt unfamiliar. Mrs. Adebayo kept cutting her chicken into small pieces, acting as if nothing serious had just been said. Amara sat still, her chest tight, wondering how everything had changed so quickly. The guest room. That was the room meant for visitors, distant relatives, and friends passing through. People who did not belong. Amara was 24, home temporarily after losing her job and feeling burned out. Her parents had told her, "Stay as long as you need." She had believed them. Now it seemed that "as long as you need" had an expiration date. She swallowed and asked carefully, "I don't understand. I've been staying in my old room." Her voice was steady, but inside, she felt like the ground beneath her was shifting. Mrs. Adebayo finally looked up, her expression tight. "That room isn't yours anymore," she said. "Your sister needs it when she visits. And it's time you stop acting like this is permanent." Acting like this is permanent. Amara worked 2 jobs. She paid rent. She bought her own groceries. She cleaned and stayed out of the way. She never invited friends over. Yet none of that seemed to matter. Her sister, who lived 3 hours away and visited only occasionally, still had childhood photos on the walls. Somehow, she was a priority. Mr. Adebayo cleared his throat. "You're not a child anymore. Adults don't live with their parents." Amara almost laughed. Her older sister, Tola, was 30 and still had a key to the house. She showed up unannounced and borrowed money often, but no one called her a problem. Amara looked around the dining room. The chipped plates, the familiar smell of stew, the house that only felt like home when she followed every unspoken rule. "So those are my options?" she asked quietly. "The guest room or I leave?" Her mother nodded. "We're just being honest." Honest. The word hurt more than the ultimatum. Honesty would have meant admitting they had already chosen long before dinner began. Amara pushed her chair back slowly. Her hands trembled, but her voice did not. "When do you want me out?" she asked. Her father hesitated, just briefly. "Soon. A few days." A few days to pack up her life again. She stood, pushed her chair in neatly, and nodded. "I'll figure out," she said. No one stopped her as she walked upstairs to a bedroom that no longer felt like hers. That night, Amara lay awake staring at the ceiling. Every creak in the house sounded like a countdown. Guest room or move out. The words echoed in her mind. It felt as if she were a suitcase, something to be stored away or removed. By morning, her decision was clear. The guest room was not a compromise. It was a message. You are temporary. You are tolerated. You do not belong. She refused to shrink herself any further. If she had to leave, she would leave completely. She woke before sunrise and went downstairs. She brewed coffee and wiped the counters, moving with quiet habit. Years of trying to prove she deserved space had become muscle memory. When Mrs. Adebayo entered the kitchen, she avoided eye contact. "So," she said lightly, "have you thought about it?" Amara nodded. "Yes." Her mother's shoulders relaxed. "Good. The guest room is ready." Amara placed the cloth down gently. "I'm moving out," she said. Her mother froze. "What?" "I'll be out within the week," Amara replied calmly. "You're being dramatic," her mother snapped. "We're offering you a room." "You're offering me less," Amara answered softly, and calling it generosity. Mr. Adebayo entered with his coffee mug, listening as his wife explained. "She's just sensitive," Mrs. Adebayo insisted. Her father finally asked, "Where will you even go?" "I'll figure out," Amara said. She did not have a clear plan yet, but uncertainty felt better than staying where she was unwanted. Her parents exchanged a look, the kind that said, "She'll be back." Amara said nothing more. She began packing that same day. Not angrily, not loudly, just quietly. Clothes into boxes, books into bags. She left her sister's trophies on the shelves. No one suggested moving them. On the 3rd day, Her mother stood at the doorway. "Most people would be grateful we're letting them stay," she said. Amara paused and looked at her carefully. "Most parents wouldn't make their child feel like a burden," she replied. Her mother scoffed. "You're twisting things." Amara shrugged gently. "Maybe I'm just done twisting myself." That night, she slept on the floor beside her packed boxes. The bed already felt like it belonged to the house. The next morning, she loaded her car. Her father stood on the porch, arms crossed. There was no hug, no "call us when you get there." Just silence. As she drove away, she waited for guilt to wash over her. She expected panic, the urge to turn back and apologize, but it never came. Instead, Amara moved something into a small studio apartment across town. The walls were plain, the furniture cheap, and the mattress rested on the floor. But it was hers. No conditions, no warnings, no quiet reminders that she did not belong. For the first time in months, she breathed deeply. The air felt lighter. She unpacked slowly, arranging her books the way she liked. The silence in the apartment felt peaceful instead of tense. Weeks passed, then months. Her parents called occasionally, but conversation stayed shallow. How's the weather? How's work? Nothing deeper. The distance felt strange at first, but the farther she was from that house, the easier it became to breathe. She realized something important. They had not pushed her into independence. They had pushed her into freedom. And she no longer felt the need to earn a place that should have been hers all along. At first, they did not seem to notice her absence. That hurt more than anger would have. There were no calls asking, "Have you eaten?" or "Are you settling in?" Life at their house continued smoothly. Or so it seemed. Amara focused on her new job and built quiet routines. She began to see how much she had adjusted herself in the past, just to keep peace. Then small cracks appeared. One evening, her mother called, irritation sharp in her voice. "Did you take the insurance folder?" "No," Amara replied calmly. "It's in the blue drawer bottom shelf." There was a pause. "Oh." A week later, her father texted, "How do I log into the streaming account?" Then another message about the Wi-Fi router. Then a question about a bill. Amara answered briefly, politely, like a guest offering help, not a daughter managing the household. That was when she understood. They did not miss her. They missed what she did. The silent fixing, the remembering, the emotional cushioning. One Sunday, her mother sighed during a phone call. "The house feels different," she admitted. "Yes," Amara replied gently. "It does." Her mother hesitated. "You could come for dinner. Use your old room." Amara noticed the words carefully. "Not your room. Just old room." "I'm busy," Amara said calmly. And this time it was true. Her life had filled up in ways she had not expected. She had friends who checked on her when she was quiet. She had co-workers who valued her input. Even her solitude felt kind. She was no longer shrinking herself to make others comfortable. A month later, her sister Tola called. "They say you've changed," she said awkwardly. "You're distant." "I am," Amara replied. "You'll get over it." Tola laughed. "No," Amara said softly. "I got through it." There was silence on the other end. Distance had clarified things. It had shown her what she had tolerated for years. On a quiet Tuesday, her father called. His voice sounded different, less firm. "Your mother's been upset," he said. "She thinks maybe we were too harsh." "Maybe," Amara answered. "Well," he continued carefully, "don't you want to talk about it?" She paused. She did want to talk, but not to return to who she had been before. "I built a life where I don't feel like I'm asking permission to exist," she told him gently. "I'm not giving that up." Silence stretched between them. Finally, he said, "I hope you're happy." "I am," she replied. And she meant it. The conversation ended without an apology, but something had shifted. They no longer offered the guest room. They no longer made demands. For the first time, they spoke to her like someone who could leave and stay gone. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. Amar realized that sometimes the bravest choice is not fighting to stay where you are barely tolerated. Sometimes courage means walking away quietly and choosing yourself. And in that choice, she had finally found a home within herself.